Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by the wonderful folks over at La Marzocco. The La Marzocco espresso machine is the cornerstone of so many amazing coffee bars throughout the world. They've been making espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927, and that's almost 100 years of serving the retail coffee community with dependable, beautiful, and innovative espresso machines. You've got machines like the KB90 with the straight-in locking portafilter system, the scales built into the drip tray, and the auto flush for cleanliness and flow, good workflow. You've got the classic Linea and also the Linea PB, which is one of my favorite espresso machines because I'm a big fan of the profile of the Linea, but it also has all the technology of modern espresso extraction to be able to give your baristas the tools for consistency. You've got machines like the lever espresso machine, and much more. Lots of different configurations to suit your needs. Just email info@lamarzocousa.com to talk to one of their salespeople about what machine is right for you. So if you're in the market for an espresso machine for your first shop, second shop, or just upgrading the equipment you have, check out La Marzocco over at lamarzocousa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by the company that really wants to be behind the scenes. They, funny enough, they have an ad on this show, but Rattleware. Rattleware.com is all about smallwares that just work. It makes a big difference. Good smallwares, pitchers, whisks, knockboxes, and everything in between that you rely on to get the job done. When one of those things doesn't work, it's a big deal. It's kind of like the thorn in your side when a thing you're supposed to count on is not built correctly. But that's why Rattleware is so great, because they build things that just work. So if you're looking for smallwares, you're looking to upgrade some of those things so that you can have a little bit more peace of mind for what is all the little things holding your business together, then definitely check them out over at rattleware.com. Okay, everybody. Well, today we are on Shift Break going to talk about growth. Now, part of the thing about being in the coffee industry today is that you've got people like me, and you've got other people out there that are podcasters, consultants, conducting classes, speeches, and everything else, all designed to give you solutions to problems that you might encounter when you are opening a coffee shop or when you are simply wanting to run your coffee shop better. It's great. I love working with people that want to make their coffee shop better, who want to avoid needless mistakes and hardships. And the key here is the word needless. Now, we might think that everything that is hard is probably a mistake we're making, or that this hardship is a nuisance, that it's not an asset to us, and that if it was a matter of money, like if we just had all the money in the world, we would have purchased all of the tools that we need to run a great coffee shop. Like we're going to airdrop ourselves into this box, this coffee shop, and we will be able to run it as long as we have the right tools, as long as we have enough money and we have the right tools. But that is 100% wrong. It is not correct. And this is partially why I try to actually, and I have a lot of skepticism around templates. Templates are useful. I have them. I use them with my clients, and I have a lot of caveats that I give with these, and there are tools to be used in process and in service to growth of the individual. Now, I could give you a lot of solutions, and the industry can give you a lot of solutions, but who you are is more important than the tools you use most of the time. If you had to pick between being a great leader and manager with great work ethic and the characteristics and values that are needed to work with people, and you could have dysfunctional tools, you could have imperfect processes and everything else, but your abilities and you as a person can and often do make up for a lack of those things. What I see happening, though, is people assume that it can't be me. We just need the right solutions and tools, and then we're going to build this empire. And when we come up against hardships or constraints, we're going to view those things as problems that we can purchase our way out of. I've had people tell me, Chris, I want to hire you And I don't want to be bothered with the coffee thing. You're going to take that on. That's your domain. You're the expert and all this other stuff. And I don't end up working with those people because, first of all, I work with owner operators. That doesn't mean that you don't get freedom. Of course, that's one of our goals is that you're going to be able to delegate. You're not going to be tied down by the business inappropriately. Over time, you'll find that margin for life and that the business works for you and not you for the business, basically, right? But to abdicate your responsibility to be the person that that business needs in the moment because you want to give it to another person and make them the thing that that business needs, I think is a little bit irresponsible because even if you do find somebody who works very well for that, you end up having to lead them or you basically abandon them to the task and the cycle of, oh, I'm so disappointed. I hired a GM and they're supposed to be autonomous and I empowered them by being hands off and all this other BS that people do, this hands off leadership idea in this spooky logic that they, well, if they were the right person, they would have just worked out without any input from me or feedback or care and resourcing. Okay, so no matter what, no matter how you slice this, you need and you are, and most of you in this listening audience are in the throes of committing your caloric output, your work, and your time to the business. And there is this tension that feels like, look, what I'm doing right now is wrong because it is not where I want to be. But there is an aspect of what you're doing now that is there specifically because you are supposed to be learning lessons that grow you so that you are the kind of boss, you are the kind of owner that the business needs when it does get bigger. The worst thing that could happen is that you are unprepared as a person to take on the success of your business that was boosted with like performance enhancing drugs to have 6 locations in a roastery, in a lab, in a wholesale department, and all this other stuff that somehow it was just kind of popped into existence. You see this happen with a lot of investment. When people take on investment, what they'll do is they'll say, finally, I can get all the things that I need, but they don't bother to figure out, am I prepared and is my team prepared to handle that scale? So issues that you're having right now are the hardships, or if you feel like you're running with a parachute on your back, this is partially, yeah, there might be some things that are problems that you need to ferret out. You need to work out, okay, well, how can we make this system a little bit better? How can we get better tools? How can we refine our processes and our communication structure and our role clarity and all of the things we talk about on the show? But also, you should be thinking about, who am I and who are we and what do we need to be and who do we need to be in order to properly steward the growth that this business is showing it's on the path to. If you're the right kind of person and you have the right kind of team and the right people that have that growth mindset as people, and that growth mindset is towards you as a person as well as towards the business, then you'll be able to handle more stuff. But you don't get there by not going through hardships and the valleys that come with the ups and downs of business. And so I guess today's episode of Shift Break is just to say, not everything that you're going through as a hardship right now is an indicator that you're doing the wrong thing. It could be that you are simply going through a process that is meant to basically refine you as much as it is meant to refine the business, so that when you do break through, when you do get that second or third location, or you take on roasting your own coffee, or whatever your next iteration is, you're going to be prepared for it. And that's going to feel a lot better than feeling unprepared for taking on more things, because we fast tracked ourselves through purchasing, through tools, but we overlooked growing ourselves. So, as much as I like the idea that Keys to the Shop has a lot of topics that help you with your lists and systems and your SOPs, structures, and things like that, I equally hope that this show has shown you that as you grow, you need to lean further and further into relationships. And that includes how you relate to the business and who you are in the midst of it. So that's all we have for today. Thank you very much, everybody, for taking the time to listen. And by the way, if you are a coffee shop owner of a number of years and you are thinking, I would love to be in community with other coffee shop owners, we have key holder coaching groups that you should consider being a part of. These are paid mastermind groups of 6 other coffee shop owners, actually 6 total. So you'd be one, and then there's 5 more in each group. These groups meet together over the course of 6 months to help each other with encouragement, accountability, insights. There's a lot of deep, focused time on specific opportunities and problems and issues that cafes naturally come up with. There's been so many great conversations with the key holder coaching groups, and people have truly changed their lives and their businesses for the better as a result of this community of like minded coffee shop owners. If this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, jump on it right now because our applications are open and I would love to see your application come through so you and I can have a conversation. You just need to follow the link in the show notes. You can also email Chris at keystotheshop.com for more information. We'll set up a time for you to chat with me and we'll see if this is the right fit for you. We're going to be selecting the groups in the beginning of September and then launching the next cohort of groups at the end of September. So key holder coaching groups, really transformative and rewarding group to be a part of. And I hope to be talking with you soon. And with that, that is the end of our show. Thanks everybody so much for taking the time to listen. Subscribe, share these episodes, and as always, we'll be back next week for another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.